Arabian Nights, like Arabian Days.
I drew this on a bag I got at Mickey D's. I was bored that day.
And this is the Arkenstone of old,
which was guarded by the Infinity Gauntlet.
the central treasure of all the vast treasures of this golden realm.
Whoa! And then the cartoon had a seizure. Good night, everybody.
Destroyed.
Ooh, Marvin the Martian is a dragon. Isn't that lovely?
I made your town go kaboom.
And he dragged off the treasures of Dale.
I stole all your Mardi Gras beads! Make me your king, New Orleans!
3 survived the flames, a watchman who slept when the dragon came creeping.
Yes, but who watches the Watchmen?
And why does the general look like he should be the mayor of Candyland?
Princess Mika Milovana.
Princess Sweet and Low? I really love your little coffee sugar packets.
Gandalf, whispered General Oakenshield. Only the great wizard Gandalf can help us now.
William L. Snyder? So this must be the Snyder Cut that everyone's been talking about, right?
We present to you a film so bad, even the credits didn't want to stay around.
3 ragged and weary survivors of Dale, the burned city of Golden Bells, came to the lonely tower of Gandalf the Grey.
And they brought him gold, frankincense, and a whole lot of booze.
Said the great wizard, that Dale has been destroyed by slag
Funny, I always thought Dale would be destroyed by Chip.
on the lonely mountain, just as it is written in the great book.
Okay, I'll read you a bedtime story. Just go away!
The hills are alive
with
with
the look of stained glass.
Like all hobbits, he lived in a hole in the ground. It was a very comfortable hole, full of everything needed for a cozy, secure life.
Yeah, but does this hobbit hole have Wi-Fi?
And that of his great...
Get off my wing!
Huh, apparently Bilbo has an acquired taste for How to Train Your Dragon fan art. Who knew?
And he didn't know that his time had come. All at once they were there.
And suddenly the plot invaded and Bilbo had tonal whiplash.
I love random strangers entering my house, eating my food, and sending me on death-defying missions. Don't you?
I see this all the time at IHOP whenever they're serving drunken D&D players.
About you, said the wizard Gandalf. You are the chosen dragon killer.
And you should get out of my face with your creepy mug.
The impenetrable Mirkwood forest, across the poisonous desolation of slag, to Lonely Mountain itself.
Ooh, a dartboard. I call dibs on the first throw.
Creep into the deepest great chamber of the old jewel mines of Dale and kill the fire-spitting dragon Slag. A fascinating story.
And a very hot foursome indeed. But you'd be better getting dressed before your significant other starts to become suspicious.
But it is written in the prophecies, said General Torrin Oakenshield. We cannot go without you.
Well, then you're up shit creek without a paddle, aren't you?
Leave that old dragon be. The princess was furious and impatient with all this talk. Mr. Baggins, she shouted.
Don't you know how many times I've been kidnapped by that dragon? I swear I'm sick and tired of seeing that Italian plumber who thinks he owes me a date for saving him.
He sits on our treasures and waits his time to strike other lands.
We must shoot down the spy balloons before they get a chance.
Then I shall go alone. Bilbo was shocked. He shouted at Gandalf, but this is crazy. She's only a child.
And you are vertically impaired. What's your point?
Alone? Correct. The great wizard agreed. I'm glad you see it at last, dear Bilbo. You can start first thing in the morning.
Nice dissolve.
And so they set out to follow the ancient map.
Which was just a coloring sheet they got at Denny's.
Hobbiton behind and carrying barely enough food for the usual hobbit between-meal snack.
Or the same amount of food that Cody eats within one sitting.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Across the great barricades. Gandalf the Grey watched from his own distance.
Wait a minute, I thought you were going with us.
Me? Screw that noise. I want to keep myself alive. Good luck surviving, suckers!
A crushed
Lamb chop? No!
to feed groans. Hungry brutes with skin as thick as bark.
Man, Groot really let himself go, hasn't he?
The legends say that groans must be in their caves before sunrise, or they'll surely turn into dry trees rooted to the ground forever.
You know, petrified forest and all.
And this puny lamb would serve only as an appetizer.
Which no doubt will be better than the buffalo wings they serve at Applebee's.
Smell of roasting.
Hey, you guys!
With the others being bigger and even hungrier, spinning into a hollow log. In no time.
Alright, gentlemen, how would you like your people cooked?
I like mine cooked Anakin Skywalker style.
Ah, so extra crispy. Excellent choice, my good man.
Roasted. The first groan furiously knocked the spit from the flames and shouted that the second should be happy to have people flesh at all.
If you can't eat your people, you can't have any pudding.
He could just keep the brutish groans fighting among themselves. He was a good mimic.
Not as good as Brock Baker, but still close enough.
Small voice. The second groan's lips didn't move, but his voice seemed to shout, "No stupid ape like you can tell me how to eat my food."
What?
It sounds like Bane auditioning for Planet of the Apes.
Soon the dull through the night till the first rays.
Quick, we ran out of budget. Repeat the footage.
Bilbo had tricked them.
Here comes the sun to kill ya. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. And now we're back to the freaking caves again.
So many caves, so little time.
Great barricades. The survivors had a new opinion of their small hobbit dragon slayer.
They made their mind after they saw him retweet J.K. Rowling's post on Twitter.
And shield. Then suddenly, Bilbo
Whee!
down through a crevasse with a soundless scream.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Down past the chewed rock tunnels of the hateful grablins who kill and eat.
Down to where Bilbo accidentally crashed into Kermit the Frog's bar mitzvah party.
Down to where there is none but Gollum.
Who knew? You're the narrator. You're supposed to be telling the story.
Years before, a weak and rejected creature found what Gandalf the Grey still seeks, the One Ring of Power.
Which was just a ring pop that Gandalf bought at the Dollar Tree.
On this black isle where the hobbit had now fallen, and he had cringed with his ring alone in the dark so long that he could speak only to his miserable self.
That seems to be every incel on Tumblr.
What horrid little nasty has come to steal our ring, my precious?
Wait, is that supposed to be our Gollum? Are you kidding me right now? My god, he looks like Gossamer got on crystal meth and dyed his hair white.
Bilbo did have the ring. Magically, the One Ring of Power had found its true bearer.
Boy, talk about Vegas wedding, am I right?
He felt the ring's power, that it might help him against the dragon slag. Bilbo made a mighty leap,
Bouncy, bouncy, right into the vagina cave.
darted up the nearest tunnel as fast as he could go.
Wow, looks like those high school track lessons came in handy after all.
We must catch the tricksy thief before it reaches the outside.
Ah, so this must be the cave Plato warned us about.
Yay, philosophy jokes.
Way out, but who guessed that Gollum did?
Ew, movie, why do you have to show us your digestion tract? We don't want to see that.
Directly into the blessed sunlight. So Bilbo
Meanwhile, on the map of Narnia,
companions who had crossed the tops of the mountains, and they faced together the next obstacle on their long journey, Mirkwood Forest.
Boink!
Entering Mirkwood was like plunging into a sea of trees.
Which is basically every description for forest, so that line of dialogue was incredibly pointless.
Endless forest whose mists were as poisonous as its vegetation. The four travelers were starved and exhausted,
hey guys, didn't we pass that mushroom an hour ago?
themselves to the most hideous danger of all.
We could have shown you more adventures in the forest, but we have a time limit to fulfill.
Dragon slag.
Well, it looked like the dragon overdosed on the mountain of cocaine. This was a lot easier than I thought.
Fast asleep.
Wow, there's more sparkles here than a Kesha concert.
Dale. Ironically, Slag had dragged these same jewels from the treasury of the Golden City he destroyed.
And
That
cut,
was the very place of
cut,
origin.
cut. Okay, there we go.
Bilbo looked out at this stupendous scene of both beauty and ugliness. His feelings, too, were a swirling mixture of exhilaration and horror.
Oh, that shroom is kicking in.
During panorama of gems, he suddenly saw only one. It was the Arkenstone.
And so the dragon officially became a Care Bear's cousin.
Now the tiny hobbit knew exactly how this lizard must die.
Through the power of fate effects.
It was the bravest thing he had ever done.
Well, there was that time he couldn't call the neighbors. That was a wild time.
Ever would have imagined he could do.
You know, this would make an awesome projection at the Valentine's Day rave.
The ring he wore. Perhaps it was his growing love for the Princess Mika.
Yes, that blossoming romance between an adult and a child, which we totally forgot to establish.
He did it. He climbed the diamond vest of the slumbering dragon and he stole the Arkenstone.
While someone was busy slinging a flashlight in the background.
Together with the others, he fashioned a powerful crossbow from old mining tools.
What kind of mining tools made that thing?
Yeah, I don't know, just ask the 7 dwarves.
Was the arrowhead destined for the black heart of slag?
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. You give Tolkien a bad name, bad name.
Just as Gandalf knew he would.
They returned to a better movie, The Thief and the Cobbler.
And Bilbo and Mika reigned there together.
Ew.
They returned to that quiet, comfortable life in Hobbiton.
Until Bilbo got served by Child Protective Services.
Gandalf the Grey would knock upon the round, green door.
Okay, can we all agree that we owe Peter Jackson an apology?
Agreed.
Good, I'm glad we're on the same page. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody!